my gosh, from no piano at all to now playing Chopin beautifully. Beautiful job. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the most your balance work with the right hand, left hand, which is hard to do. And most of the times you kept the right hand singing line, and then not many times I felt like, oh, left hand is overpowering, which is often a problem with the Chopin. But in your case, I felt like balance was mostly there. So I really, really happy about it. You know, I thought the Chopin, I remember playing Chopin when I was in your age, or I don't know, like 8 or 9. I don't know what I was thinking, but now I play Chopin and I cannot imagine playing 8 or 9 years old playing Chopin because so subtle nuance that hard to express. And so, for example, for the beginning of, we have 3 sections, right? Like 3 different sections of this piece. This section, what's emotions for you? You can sit.
I feel like, I mean, it repeats. So I think the first time it's mostly sad.
Sad.
But the second time there's more anger.
Oh, I see. That makes sense the way you did it. I see. Okay. You mean the sad and then becomes a little angry. I see. Why sad? Why did someone is sad?
I don't really know. I guess it could be.
Is it like a tragic sad or a little bit sad because you couldn't eat that last piece of pie? What kind of sadness we're talking about?
Like hurt?
Yeah? Like
yeah.
You mean physically hurt, emotionally hurt?
Emotionally.
Yeah, why?
Because it's like, it's very like, there are accents at the beginning of each place. So it just feels like, it's like you're mad, but then it's like, now you're like sad. Like it's like.
Yeah, I see it. I see, yeah. I see that, the accent and then the sadness. But I do see also you're hurt by someone you love. So you can be totally angry and sad. You're still want to forgive it. That's the difficult part of the Chopin. You're crying, but then somehow you're smiling at the same time. Or you're smiling, but your eyes are watery. That conflicted, it's so tricky on the Chopin. So you can't be just all sad and weeping, oh my gosh, this is so sad. You can't do that. So the way you started the F sharp, I was actually very much impressed with your F sharp because you didn't do, but then later you kind of did it, and I can see why because it was the angry part of it. I see. But every time when you already we want to feel like, your version was da, 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 and then I'm not in it yet. Can you be directly going into probably the legato thing too? Probably this A sharp is one also. So instead of, you see, but entrance was good because accented, right? This is, and then, can we make that? That's a little, I still love that person, but I got hurt. If you're angry, you're going to be da 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 da. You know what I mean? This is a little bit of a tenderness. Is there? Can we try that? Not bad. So now let's make it enter into that sadness a little more tender. Rather than Can we try that? Yeah, much better F sharp. So now you kind of made it almost theatrical. You can't do that either. F sharp was beautiful. Then you can do much after that. But your version now, you're trying to do something. You put a lot of makeup or something, just to be subtle about it. I think you just follow the music musically. I know I'm asking so many tricky things here. With how old are you?
I'm
11. Yeah. So I'm asking like a basically life experience coming out of you with the 11-old version of it, but except I want you to try a 6 years old version of it. Can we try that one more time? I really appreciate your F sharp, not A sharp, which this one. This was good, but now I'm concerning that G. Just follow. Instead of, can we try that? Good, but you don't have to go so softly either. As long as you're there, that would be okay. Ooh, the most connected with you in this version. Maybe A sharp was like, just too thin. Like this string is gonna break it. Let's not risk it too much. But otherwise, that was the best version.
And the pedal. Got to clear the pedal well. Yeah, as you get, especially in softer moments.
Can we try that? That was beautiful, though. I think everybody felt it. Let's try that one more time. Now you're going back to theatrical thing. And then you can take your time because it's the beginning, right? You don't just jump in. Take your time. Now you're losing the timing. Simpler is better. Almost. This was really beautiful. A sharp still be singing, you know? Not bad. Let's try that one more time. That's getting closer. Still go F sharp and then use that energy.
Lior, think about where does the music go downhill and where does the music kind of relax, right? Within this phrase, there are 3 different phrases within, right?
Very good. Yes. So if you can make that 8 out of 10 times rather than 1 out of 10 times, that's your goal. And then maybe it varies at times, but as long as the phrasing is there, the emotion is there, we'll be okay. We can just, again, flexible each day. But that was good because you concentrate the melodic line, you are there, emotionally there. There is no edge like or too dramatic, so subtle, but everything is there. Very good. Another thing I was thinking is your transition after right there. You actually, that part is what? What kind of emotion is that one? Second page.
Well, it says con anima.
Uh-huh.
So a little, I don't know, it's mixed. It's like, because it's not happy, but it's not sad or angry. It's like, sort of like, I don't know, like cooling down.
Cooling down. I like the cooling down. Wow. Yeah. So you're like so emotionally charged the first page. So you're kind of like, yeah, maybe life is not that bad. You know? So when you enter into it, I thought actually your emotional connection with the second page was better than the first page because first one is a little too sad for your character for now. But the second page, I thought, you're right there. But before you getting into the transition I'm talking about, we have to transition from sadness somehow to this cooling down phrase, right? So you went into da-da-da-da, di-ya-da-da, something like that. I wonder we can be subtle about it. It's more like you just opening the door and like, oh, where am I? Rather than, everybody, I'm going to enter this door right now. We don't have to announce it. So right there, this one. That's what's the doorway pathway, right? Your version, you're like announced it. Let's make it a little subtle about it. And just then we can be cooling up. Yeah? Can we do that maybe 2 measures before or something?
From 13?
Yeah? Yeah, did you hear that it's a little abrupt there? Da 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 da. Just let God. Nothing. You just open the door. We don't have to make a big announcement like a knock, 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 open, you know. And then you can be in. Do it again.
I have a theory that, Lior, you've been doing backwards numbers. And so you have sectionalized this piece into smaller sections.
Yeah.
And today, adding to what Dr. Kim's talking about, what I noticed the most was that the transitions felt disconnected from one section to the next. And I think you're thinking too much in sections today. It's good that you worked on backwards numbers, but you really want to make sure that they transition smoothly from one to another. Not only are you announcing it, as she just mentioned, but you often take too much time between the sections. You know, you would never, you wouldn't take that much pause, but I must have heard 8 or 9 pauses today that were much more prominent than it should be. The smoother you move into the next, the more connected we feel to your performance.
Can we try that?
So start from measure 13 again.
Just doing nothing. That will be fine. Oh, almost you did it. Da 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 da. You F sharp and B was beautiful. Da 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 da. Di da da. Legato, because there's the B, F sharp, B, D. That did. Yeah, that the half step that you can.
Lior, what finger number do you use for the first B flat, which is the last note of that first page in the right hand?
The B flat?
The very last note of the first page. What finger number do you use?
I use 2.
Oh.
So what comes before that?
A 3.
Are you guessing or are you looking at the music?
B.
What finger number do you use for the second to the last note?
Oh, I see. It says 4.
Yeah. Why do you think it says 4? Because that will trap you, or that is suggesting that you use what for the next note.
3.
And then look at the next finger number. Isn't it the same note?
Yes.
What does it say? Why do you think on the same note that they're suggesting for you to switch from 3 to 2?
Because it's easier to play when you have 2.
They're actually harder to play. It takes more effort because you have to change finger numbers on the same exact note. So knowing that you have to put an extra effort to change finger numbers, what do you think is the reason behind it?
It makes you think about it?
Yes, but in what other ways?
It
If you use the same finger, what kind of sound do you think you would get?
you'd probably play louder the second time.
That's true. What else? If you use the same finger, are you more likely to get the same sound out of the same finger or different sound?
The same sound.
Exactly. And so what is Dr. Kim talking about? She's saying da 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 da. What we're looking for is da dee da dee, right? So simply by changing finger numbers, it forces you to change the color of the sound. And you have to be very sensitive to that.
4, 3, 2. Instead of you do 1, 3, 2, 2.
And when you repeat the same note, it's just the way our hands are built. It makes you want to accent it the second time naturally. because you're the knock knock. Da,
Yeah,
da.
let's try the right hand alone. Just 1, 4, 3, 2. Is that better?
Yeah, and you have to melt into 2. Yes.
Yeah. Without too much exaggeration.
Yeah, you just have to soften the second finger.
Fingering. Yes. Let's try that once again. Still not too much of a timing.
Yeah, but don't waste on. No, you're still waiting. Da dee da da. Better.
Yeah,
But now soften.
Yeah. We are going into that. B flat, the last one is still entrance. The first note is a right, I think so. Let's add it both hands together, the same spot. 13. Both hands, yeah. Did you use a fingering?
but at least you didn't do that da,
That's true,
which
that's
was so
true.
bothersome before.
Yeah.
It was much more smooth.
That's true.
So finger numbers dictate the sound quality that we get out of our instrument, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's actually getting into T. Can you play that section?
By the way, what does con anima mean?
With animation.
Yes. So is it slower or faster?
Faster.
Yes. Because it's less sad. So now the tempo quickens.
You know, I think your emotion is there, but by emotional connection is there, but your fingers are what they're doing is da da ti da 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So you're accenting the third note, but you have to kind of hold that urge, even though your left hand wants to do that. You say ti da da 1 2 3 1 2. That's the waltz, isn't it? So you're kind of lean onto the long note. Your version sometimes, if I exaggerate, so that we're kind of like we want to slide a little bit and dance with it, but you're like, oh, there's slide has like something I cannot slide. Can we try that? Da 2 3 1 2 and ti ya di da da ti ya da da. We have to go tam ba di da. So let's experiment. This is experiment come. I know your tempo is that's your comfort zone, but I want you to come out of the comfort zone and just experiment. You can maybe go back to this tempo after an hour later, but I want you to try now. 1 2 3 ti ya da da 1 2 and ti ya da da ti ya da da ti ya di yam da di da da di da da.
That's why that note is so important, because that's the moment where you get to slow down. You're swinging and you're dancing. That's why that moment is so poignant, for that reason.
But you followed me though. You're kind of like, oh, I'm running. I don't know what I'm running, but you did it. Great job. This is, to going faster tempo in front of people, it's always nerve-wracking, but you did it. And you are capable of doing it, but something was holding back. So whatever that holding back is, maybe note insecurity, maybe you're not singing enough, but from there, no notes are coming accented necessarily. So now note da 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 da.
Right.
So
Lior, I was hearing that accent quite a bit today. What kind of technique do you use to get the kind of accent sound that you're actually looking for? Do we? Yeah, so to avoid da 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 di, da da da, what kind of technique do we utilize to get rid of that kind of sound? You roll your finger, you use your body weight. And today I thought that you were using a little too much tension on those accents, and so they stuck out. Now, this piano is very sensitive to accents, and when you do that, it'll yell out, you know? Can you just try maybe, let's jump to trio section at measure 50. And now you've got two accents in that first line of the trio. You see it? On the two G sharps? Yeah. Can you roll into them, not so quickly, so that you get a rounder accent? Dee-da-dee, dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da. It's a dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-da-da, right? It's not so abrupt. That's right. Now, purposely do it the wrong way. So you know the difference and feel the sensation in your elbow, your wrist. Okay, now go back to utilizing your body weight. And go ahead and put your body weight into it. Don't be shy about it, because they are accents. You don't want to play them softly, but you do it with a rolling sensation. So does that make you play a little slower or a little faster on those notes? Yeah, and musically, we're in the Romantic era. That makes it a little extra more emotional. But if you go into it, you know, with the jagged sound, that takes away that emotional element of this music. Yeah. Want to try one more time? Bravo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very
So
good.
you lean into it.
I wonder now, we go one step further from there, so we need to now, let's say da 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 da. That's, let's say, blue. Blue color is that G sharp that we did. Da 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 da, light blue. Da 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 da. Maybe a little darker navy blue. Da, and then later on, da 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 da. There's orange. Yeah, purple. That's purple's good, but I didn't hear the purple. Can we change the color? So let's try that. That's probably the last we do. It's you have a warm, sorry, let's say warm color, but then later, that purple. So I want to hear one blue, so we know where we're normally at, and I want to try the blue version, and the purple. Sorry.
And sorry to make this more complicated, but since it's the last thing we'll say today, your dotted rhythm in the trio were quickened today for some reason. You were the bum ba dum bum ba dum bum ba dee bum ba dee dum. That has to be more simple, yeah. So listen to your dotted rhythm, which is coming up in the second line of trio. So start from beginning of trio. So you have three different elements you're trying to implement right now. The rolling accent, right? Body weight transfer, and then what Dr. Kim just talked about, yes, and making sure that you don't hurry in the dotted rhythm, and make sure you bring those color changes to the forefront.
Yeah, so now let's go to the measure 73. I'm curious how that purple sounds like. Not bad. Let's not push it right before the da 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 da. You don't have to da 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 da. Ooh, beautiful. Did you hear that color? Yeah, that was different than blue. Sometimes we can change the color in our mind, and fingers just follow it. Not because your finger did it, like, oh, good job, fingers. It's more of you have to have idea first and try to match the fingers to do that. And right now you did it because you wanted to change something, and somehow your fingers did it what it's supposed to be doing. That the purple though, it can be different. Some days like you are maybe more melancholy. The purple is a really beautiful, different kind of purple. And some other days it's more like a pinkish purple. So that changes. But wanting to something change the color, the desire has to be always there. You know.
And just one last thing, Lior. It's really difficult to bring those color changes unless you are really deliberate about it. And on stage, it's difficult to be deliberate if you do not find a calm peace within you when you're performing. Today, as you were playing, I thought that it was a little bit more like the recital, where you kind of went into an autopilot mode and you just kind of went for it. You have to be in the moment, and you have to be very clear about the color changes that are coming up. And you tell yourself, I'm sensing this, now it's going here, and I'm actually gonna change the sound here. And though a lot of those color changes you did very well in the last lesson, and today the colors faded a bit, you know? And so that happens when you're in front of an audience. And so don't be afraid of those moments. Be with yourself, no matter how many people are watching, whether it's 2 people watching or 2,000 people watching. You have to be very deliberate about those changes. Otherwise, they don't just automatically happen for you.
I always feel like performance is like a free falling. Feel like you're gonna die. Like, oh my God. But then at some point, wait a second, I am flying. Can I move my hands like this? Oh, it does. You know, very, I don't know. It's conscious, a very conscious moment that you can do things, even though you feel like you want to close your eyes and just, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to let my body to do. But at the moment, you can always open your eyes and see what I want to do with my fingers, what I want to do with my head. You know, it's all within your mind. So that's tricky. But I thought you always have some reasoning, which I really appreciate. I mean, it's so fun to have a conversation with him.
Yeah. But I like what Dr. Kim said about free falling. I think it's true for all of us, not just you. Any performer, whether it's a pianist or someone that has to give a speech or whatever it is, when you get in front of people, it feels like free falling. But actually, during that free falling, you could say, actually, instead of panicking, I can just, I don't have to panic. Like she said, I can look at my hand. I can decide to do this, you know, and make decisions. And that's what I'm talking about, is being deliberate in those moments. And I think it's human nature to panic perform when you're in that autopilot mode and you're on stage. And that's why we have these classes, to have this conversation in front of an audience so that you can calm your nerves and say, I can make decisions in those moments, right? And so think about this today and tomorrow and the coming days. And in your next performance, ask yourself, how do I, yes, free fall, but also be very calm and deliberate during that falling sensation so that I can direct my flight to different pathways.
Yeah.
Because you have that ability to do it.
He
you
did
just
a great
haven't...
job for the first time masterclass.
Yeah, you did great. Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. Okay, bravo. Thank you. Will you tell us what is you playing?
My name is Tyler, and I will be playing Trios Nocturnes by Chopin. It's in Opus 9.
Nocturne. Have a seat. Beautiful. I appreciate some of your running notes still singing, especially the last bit. This guy, you know. Throughout, you really kept the melody singing line going, which I really, really appreciated. I think I played this piece in my middle school too, and I was just sight reading this piece this morning and thinking, I wish I could hear my recording of me playing in middle school this piece. I probably was awkward and immature, and I was curious about it. But because again, this piece, when I play now, it's so tricky. This is one of the first Nocturne people do play. But I would say it's tricky because it's not a lot going on. It's not a lot happening is harder, and the subtleness of it. So I thought you're on the right track of it. What is your favorite spot on this piece?
Probably measure 15.
Measure 15. Oh, let's go there. Can you play that section? Maybe perhaps one before that so we can lead into that. That's why probably you feel like, oh, I get to do something volume-wise, we can go somewhere. So, we're going to talk about that section because it's one of your favorite spots, and I'm going to choose my favorite spot. We're going to work on that too. So this time, when you say something to someone, I told, for example, I told you I didn't want that. I told you I didn't want that. I told you I didn't want that. When we say 3 times, it's somehow, the number 3 is also very grounding. There's something about doing 3 times. And I think this section we do dee da dee da da dee da dee da dee da. The third da 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 da. So we have some beauty about doing 3 times, but I feel like you are the most emotionally charged the first time, and the second and third time felt like echo. I want to approach differently. First time, yes, we're charged because this is the first time I'm telling someone this is what I wanted to, and so that's emotionally charged. But the second time, you have to change some tactic to change it. The same delivery, but there's something that different, right? So, for example, we do so we are the note higher then the third time it says con forza. Do you know what that means?
Really loud.
Yeah, really loud. So con is some with, forza with a fire. So third time D. Your version, I didn't feel the fire in the third time. I think it's anyway, you're more like, can you do that for me? So very, very gently ask. But this is more like, you have to do that for me. It's very, very direct about it. All right, let's try that. Getting into it when we started. So also, this go to D flat a little bit more because that's accented middle, yeah?
And Tyler, before you start, I thought you came alive with your right hand on the last page. Whenever you play in a new room on a new piano, you have to listen to the balance of the instrument, and you were playing the right hand quite soft the first 80% of the piece. And so make sure you're listening to the balance because the melody is in the right hand, isn't it?
about this one. Da, 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 do it for me. So you don't be coy. Finish your sentence with the conviction until the E flat and the C. You already showed too much beforehand. Legato da yeah. Try again. You can take time though. Let's go there.
Tyler, when do you type time? The first one, second one, or the third one? Where do you pull back to make it extra dramatic?
Third time.
Yeah, and this is the reason why you can't slow down the first one. You have to keep it going because you're going to pull back later.
Not bad, but I think there's a note issue. Triplet. You'll make sure. Am I playing the right notes? You know, just fly. Tiara, tiara. Treble. Not bad. Make sure the C is not D, da, louder than D sharp, D flat. Another thing is there's appassionato in this part, right? So what did that mean?
Like passionate.
Passionate, yeah. So first time is because there's a beauty about the first time we say it, right? It's very passionate. Da, 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 da. I think I would like this section if I were in your age too, just to get to just say it, right? So don't be shy about it. I think if there was a forte is one thing, but the forte with appassionato is another thing. So I just like, ooh, I get to actually express it fully, which is really fun to do. So don't hold back as much. Yeah, 교절하게. Good. And same thing, the triplet you cannot do. Accent and falling. Same song. First time was really beautiful. Now we're going to the second step. There you go. And four. There you go. And then third. Oh, there. That was really beautiful. Maybe be careful with that D flat is not pokey sound. You can still make that plea with the round. Okay, but the intensity was really good because the third time, right? I think I felt like that was maybe too, that was not the right color yet. But first and second time was good. Now we're gonna move on to the third one. Good try the first time. To the intensity of plea. That may be the finally you're not shouting but more please. Oh, did you hear that the accent? Tiara. You can do the triplet entering with accent. But you have to go tiara ti. Still not quite there. Da 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 ti da da di da. This note and then not here, ti da da here, and then no accent ti da here, and the third time. concept. But I think the bigger issue is this one. On that section, what do you think we are? I mean, what kind of emotion we have?
Dreamy.
Dreaming, yeah, definitely dreamy, isn't it? I feel like we're floating somewhere. We definitely especially after doing this plea 3 times, we are entering into this. What Mr. Kim was talking about today is that your right hand, left hand balance in this very section was actually off. That your left hand was louder than right hand, but you think, because I think the pianissimo, it's kind of make you a little more timid. You don't want to make sound. But pianissimo sometimes is not a decibel volume, it's more of a mood. So if you hear this professional pianist playing this very section, you might be like, oh, that's quite loud. But the mood of floating dreamlike might be there. So you can't just everything, you know, we need to hear the melody right there. And your left hand actually was creating beautiful line, but that has to be our hidden skill, trick. We don't want to show that hidden skill for everybody. Like, that's my magic skill, but you're showing every magic, secret in front of everybody. If your right hand is in front, left hand is doing all this color change underneath, we don't know what's going on, but it's very beautiful. It's changing color subtly. But if you're upside down and you show everything, like, I'm hiding the card on behind my neck, you're showing so much a trick like that. So first of all, confidently go forward and just create the mood, not the volume. Can we try that? I didn't hear it. I only hear. Oh, where's F go? Last of ups and downs. That will create the pianissimo feel. Yours are, I can see that I'm on little boat. So little current underneath, I feel it. But more of big giant boat. You're on the boat too, but you don't feel the little waves changing, if that makes sense. So just keep it level as possible. Can we try that? Even then, I heard I felt that the water was moving underneath, but just go to.
Also, Tyler, it's not just the softness of it all. You almost have to imagine that the chord from one chord to the next, that there isn't a clear change. It's almost like, oh, kind of like that. We talked about how piano is a percussive instrument, just mechanically. But you almost have to imagine, since you play the viola, right? You almost have to imagine that it's all on one bow, and you get that blurred sound. So if you can imagine, that's the sensation you're looking for. And that creates more of a floating sound, rather than da, ta, does that make sense? So blur the lines, so it looks more blurry.
Yeah, you have to listen to the F before you play the next note. Extreme legato with finger too. A little more. It's risky. You're starting with this thin line. Let's make it a little thick so you can have some room to work with. Maybe that's a bit too thick though. So the top a little more.
Do you remember we talked about with Lior how to create a bigger sound rather than using tension? What were we talking about? Body weight. So it's a slow entrance. That's the sensation here. You can't be late musically, but physically you have to be as slow as possible without music being played. So, yeah.
That was beautiful, man. Yeah, that's it. Try it. You actually did a beautiful job. So much better. I think that's where we want to be. I think the first half, especially, you got it. I was with you the whole time, and then you go ta da da. You kind of all of a sudden like showing the truth again. So true last at the end. Because you kept the tension really nicely, just in this line, and then all of a sudden you're like da da da, and slow it down here and there. Just not much of a flutter. Just keep that. Can we try one more time?
One little thing, Tyler, it was really beautiful. You almost have to take a little bit of a risk to hold on to the notes longer than you feel comfortable, because that's what creates that legato sound. If you lift the hand off the keys, it's going to separate that sound. So keep it down a little longer than you feel comfortable. Yeah.
But without slowing down at the
Yes.
end of the phrasing, please. You can do that without it. Try it again. That in tone though was, you got it. That's it. Float. Too much. You're slowing down though. Just a simple da, da, you do ta, ta, da. It's really hard to go up there. Just easy going up. It's humming. With the da, da, da. We're not the dramatic operatic yet.
Also, Tyler, the sort of the overall pace of the moment is on the slower side, isn't it? And when you're playing slower music, if you make deliberate slowing down on top of that, it starts to get a bit sleepy to us, to the music.
Yeah.
So you have to keep it flowing. So it's on the, you're kind of leaning back, but it's flowing forward at the same time.
Especially at the moment though. That's the only time that you're doing that. Before that you did it. Can we try that one? Body weight as the F. A little more. Less than that. One more time.
Tyler, literally lean into it, drop your weight into
Slower.
it. Slow drop. Like you're rolling a round rock into the river. That's the sensation. Into the soil.
Keep it more. Don't shy away. You're almost like going too soft. But as initially we talked about that, we need to have a right hand balanced correctly. I don't want to hear the left hand louder than the right hand. We're still slowing down. Ta-da-dee. Can we do that first section? Ta-dee-da-dee-da. I still hear the ta-dee-da, da-da-da. Can we just go, just brush it? Ta-dee-da-dee-da. Do it again. Just easy about it. Just almost like humming. Better, without, asking my permission, just go. That's one last time. Better. You still have a tendency of yeah. Can we just It's the first phrasing ending. We don't want to make it dramatic. Can we try one more time? That ending. Better. Let's and then you can take a tiny break after that, yeah? All right, so now we get to talk about maybe my favorite spot, because we talked about your favorite spot. So my favorite spot in this piece is that, well, we do this one. Right? Can you do that for me? Just, that's not my favorite spot, but that we need to have that in our ear to get to my favorite spot. Can you do that? 51. Isn't it fortissimo though? I don't hear the fortissimo. This is another spot you can get to do it. Seguido. I feel like you're still a little shy about it. I want. Let's stay up there until the end. But don't hit the first note. It's still rounded. Still like a T. But more volume though. Top noise, top note. Yes. Keep it. Thank you. So that's that. All right. So now we're going to my favorite spot, which is 2 major. We're doing that in like, where are we? We're doing. This is all of a sudden like, you know, where am I? Like, oh my gosh, this is heaven. I did not know that. Oh my gosh, where am I? That kind of thing. It's all of a sudden the theme and everything is like, it's like, wow, am I dreaming or am I reality? That section, the way he wrote it, it's so beautiful. So let's create that. Can we do that? 2 measures of floating, nothingness, don't do anything about it, left hand. I hear the ta-da-da-da-da-da. We don't want anything, like almost measureless. Don't accent the first note right away. Yeah, cool. Flow to the G. And the right, just enter nothing. More right. Yeah, I still feel like left hand will be too much. One last time. Can we try that? So let's get into the left hand twice. I mean the 2 measures. And right hand coming out. More than that though. Yes. Keep it. You cannot keep that.
So Tyler, this section, because it is a bit foggy, isn't it? More like train. I thought that you got faster and faster as you were playing. When you recognize that, you really have to calm the music down a bit. So don't push because you're surging forward. And if you do, then it's sometimes hard to come back down to slowing down. So be careful about surging forward like that.
Yeah, just doing nothing is sometimes the hardest thing.
And it's probably the most effective way to play this section is everything's so simple.
Yeah.
So keep it simple.
Right. If I play this piece or if someone playing it, I'm waiting for this moment. That's kind of special. Even if it's not your favorite, now you know that it's my favorite. Maybe you can pay a little more attention for that section. Yeah. Very good. Excellent.
Thank you, Tyler.
I'm playing Chopin's Nocturne, Opus 37, number 1.
loved it. Beautiful way of music making. How old are you?
I'm 10.
10. Oh, yeah. I mean, again, we're asking for 10 years old to express Chopin in a way maybe about, again, 60 years old might be easier. For this piece also, not much going on. And if it was easier if you're playing all kinds of virtuosic and big sound, and this is very subtle, you know. And 10-year-old to express subtle is tricky. But I thought you did beautifully. For 10 years version of it, I thought like this is a very mature version of 10-year-old. But we're not comparing the age here. We want the best you can, right? So we want to make it such a way that, again, that we talked about with the first Chopin. The Chopin is that you're smiling, but your eyes are watery. And this one, it's what's the first? Is it happy first or sad first? Sad first. But then it's not tragic sad. There's some love underneath, tenderness underneath, isn't it? Yeah. So I feel like you carried it beautifully. You know, if I only choose one spot to work on with you today, will be the middle section, that the chords, you know, because I can see that myself playing this piece, 10-year-old. I get it. The first page beautiful, second page okay, that's kind of same line. What's up with this chord section? This covered almost entire page, right? That will be hard to express, and I can see the little bit of struggle from you from that section more than any other section. Have you ever heard choir singing in the church? Hymnals? 4 parts, just a cappella? Yeah, similar. This one, I think it is that kind of hymnal, you know, so that you don't, but it's a singing line. So it's not a, you know, piano, it's very chordy, but I have to imagine so hard this is a singing.
You guys want to sit in the front so she can see.
The key is that you have to be very patient. Everybody else is patient. You're not patient. So you're like, da, am I there yet? Are people tired already? Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? But the key is that you just keep it. Don't move forward too much. Know that this, as long as you're singing the whole time, you will be okay. Can we work on that section first? Yeah, try that. You know, it's unfortunate the piano is kind of percussion instrument. So you are here. But we have to be go against that percussionness about this. So if we hear it, it was like a wooden instrument or singing. It's not right? But piano is, because it's a tech happening, you really have to in your mind and fingers. It's extreme legato. Can we try that?
Also, Amory, even though it's piano, this moment, the chords are immense. It's like, imagine a calm ocean and think about how much water there is in the ocean. And you have to feel the immensity of all the water in the ocean. And you're feeling the weight, even though it's quiet. It's very luxurious feeling here. And so not only is it not percussive, but behind the soft sound, you have to mention immensity and that you feel the broad strokes behind it. So it's a slow entrance without slowing down.
You know, sometimes I imagine myself fat old legendary pianists playing certain sections. This might be it. Their fingertips are this fat, and it's like so cushiony. You know, they don't have to do anything, but it's just like so creamy. And if I listening this piece, I will be melt down in this section more than the first 2 pages of this, because you have to be just so underneath of it. You can't express outwardly. It's just there. So you have to imagine that you're a much bigger body than you are. And again, the ocean, I love the analogy of ocean. It's just there. If I had a score, I wish I can be all singing for you. Because that will create. Can we try that? But you have to be clean up the pedal though. You can mix the pedal. Legato pedal is correct, but you can do too dirty pedal. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And Amory, stay in the keys. Just half second longer. Don't come off the keys. Stay in it.
I hear not a big deal. Can we do it one more time? Keep the the top melody a little more clear.
And Amory, all those rolled chords, they're as slow as possible without slowing down, and you have to keep all 4 fingers down in the keys. Keep it down. It's not da 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 da. If you lift them, it sounds ba da da da. What we're looking for is we want all 4 notes to sing together, and that's how you create that luxurious feeling.
Yeah, I wonder, I think I don't underestimate the audience today. I think we can sing the 4 measures. What do you
Should
think?
we? Can we all hum together? Ready?
All right, we are ready. Our choir is ready.
Yeah,
Are
we're
you
going to
ready?
sing with you,
Okay,
okay?
we're gonna sing with you. Okay, ready.
And
There you go. One more time. So follow the energy with you. And then you're not percussion instrument. This is like a creamy something that you're creating groove of the music. Yeah? Try that one more time. Ready and beautiful. Our choir is wonderful. Now you get to do it by yourself. Let's hear. Because now we're gonna all hear the melody in our head, even though we're not singing. Are you ready here?
stay in the keys longer.
Better. Did you hear that? Better. Yeah. I think that's how you experiment for this section. Guess what? You have your own voice. Sometimes I have to sing, with a certain part of music, just and then try to match it. No, my singing voice is better than my fingers. It's always will. My voice will be always more musical because it is. Our voice is the first instrument that we have. You really have to utilize on this section to do that.
And Amory, the section today when you're performing, we talked a lot about flow, right? That way it doesn't feel stagnant. But today I thought that you leaned quite a bit on the flow and the overall tempo was quite fast. The overall feeling of this moment is, to me, it's more gratitude. There's a lot of gratefulness in these harmonies. And so it's not a fast section by any means. Overall, it is a slow section that has forward flow. So I don't want you to confuse between, this section becoming a fast section, because it is not. Yes? Yeah.
Let's go back to the very beginning. Now that we work on the harder section of it, play the very beginning phrase, first 4 phrases.
And also, Amory, because you'll be playing in a much bigger room next week, imagine that you are right now in a room that's 10, 20 times bigger. And I want you to project and play deep into the keys. I felt that today it sounded a little bit on the timid side. So project and with round tone, yes?
Singing certain lines, you don't have to again push it to make it happen. For example, da da dee da da da. You're really playing the note and the crescendo, which is a phrasing. But I want you to know that you don't have to do it. You can sing underneath. Versus your version. I'm going to play that louder. I'm going to crescendo it. I put a lot of intention in my fingers and I try to make it happen. Rather than I know that phrasing, my fingers will do. I'm going to take a journey with the music, which is because music naturally wants to go a little bit of crescendo, rather than you putting it da da dee da da da. So it's a lot of it. Music making is letting go of you. It's now again the 10 years old. It's harder, but it's almost like music is always there. It's trend. You have a magnetic, and like where is it? Where is it? Zing, this is it. Once you find that pathway, it's not you making it. You just like I found it. Then I just take a journey with it. So for example, here, even beginning. You did beautiful job D, but then you didn't let the D decay, and then G timing was you did, the G was not ready. So if you hear the D, there's natural da, although you did correct note and rhythm, somehow da, ding. This one wasn't finding the left hand, right hand decay with it. So, your version. Can we try that? I know it's tricky, but D, here the D, and the left hand is helping the D decay. Whether the D and I have to play the G. That's a different concept.
And part of it is, we've been talking about this a lot lately. Part of it is that you tend to play with more rounded fingers, where you're playing with fingertip, and we talked about playing more with finger pad, because finger pad creates a warmer, rounder tone. When you poke at it, you're going to get a more pokey sound. So think more rounder pad sound. Yes.
So now play the D, and then you're going to hear the decay. It might be the G timing is a little later than you did. But then G, can we be a little more rounded? Da, home. Rather than da, ah. This coming. Better. There was a ta, that was a little artificial. Actually, that G, this was better. But then, can you be a little more disappointed at that moment? Rather than. Try one more time. You're getting it. Yeah, I actually was okay with the first measure, but then and then I woke up from the dream though. Right there, the B flat. Whether the da 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 da, a little more softer beginning. Like that. Then, and softer end. Yeah, not bad. But then can we not do the second beat? Less than that. The idea is there, but it was too exaggerated at the beginning. Let's go to the F sharp. Beginning. That was timing was too soon. Did you felt that? Not much. Oh, you're not going to the F sharp. Can you go to slightly? Better. And then not mean it too much. Yeah, there was a 10 years old version is there. Ta 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 da, because you did carry so beautifully. Don't exaggerate right there. You can just flow right there. Can we try it one more time? You're getting better and better each time. Try it once again. Not much. Just that was a little bit too much. Did you hear that? Left hand. T. All of a sudden you woke up from it. The idea is there, but you have to be still underneath of the right hand. Try it one more time. Good. Just a simple and then. Ooh, very good. Did you hear that? Da-da-da. That's the right version of it. So sometimes when you're exaggerating a lot, it's easier not to do. Oh, okay. I got it. I don't have to do that. And then everything's there. The left hand, the note though, it's still a bit too much. The idea, I liked it. This one. Oh, can you not poke it? Just maybe a warmer tone. I think we're gonna try one last time, the phrasing. Okay. That's the last time we do. Try the beginning.
Amory, just one
one last thing to think about. When you practice between now and our next week's lesson, I want you to play all of your roll grace notes as a little slower. I want you to listen to it because we'll have recordings for you, but you roll them way too quick. They're much more graceful. Okay?
Very good.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stephen, and today I'm going to be playing Chopin Scherzo, Opus 31. Bye.
phrase. Obviously, the best that what you do is carry this big piece from the beginning to the end. You just be able to throw out there and just finish it and have a great presence of the music and then control and fine control of this and that. I really appreciate the overall that you're like the presentation of it. It's so polished and I really appreciate it. But then obviously how we can go from here to better, right? What I was thinking is I really wish someday Stephen either surfing or some kind of beach like look and very loose about things. You may not, Stephen, I forgot how old are you? 12, yeah. Everything was very well controlled, but there are, at times in this piece, has to be a little more loose. You just have to just emotionally just unleash and go. And you still at that moment, I feel like you're kind of kept on the top there. And I think we could find those moments to be a little more loose, and we'll talk about that.
Stephen, do you know what the word abandon means? Abandonment?
Yeah.
Yeah, what does it mean? Can you tell us?
Just leave behind something.
Leave behind a little bit, kind of like that. Yeah, you know, among musicians, we say that sometimes you have to play with abandonment. And a piece like this that is so dramatic, what Dr. Kim's talking about is you played great, and we can tell that you're very thoughtful about everything. You're very calculated, and you want to do this and you want to do that, and you did great. But there are moments where you have to play with a bit of abandonment, where you almost, it's not that you want to hit wrong notes, but you almost have to let go of fear of playing wrong notes, and you have to emotionally play with abandonment, where you play with freedom, where, yeah, maybe you do hit a wrong note, but you go for it, and you don't hold anything back. And we believe that you have that capability to play with that kind of freedom. And so you have to let go a little bit and kind of lean into the music and lose yourself in it a little bit. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah, I think you are capable of it, but I think you almost programmed such a way that I can't in order to do a polished performance. So performance is always risky, no matter what you play, and you should accept the riskiness of it. All right, but let's try that maybe just at the beginning, because this piece is so go fast, and first 2 pages gonna go fast. The beginning, that was much better. We talked about that a lot, right? But then tan tam ba ya all the way to the ending note. You do tan ta da. Sometimes you cut that phrasing for something. Today you did. Normally you don't. But you know what I mean? Ta da da finish here in da 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 ba. There was something funny phrasing going on sometimes. Can we try that again? There you go. Another moment of abandonment is there to ti-ya-dum, tin-ta-tin-ta-da-ta. You know what I mean? You did it though. You just have to almost let it go. Can we go from there and then move forward? Because there's other sections.
One thing, Stephen, you know, what is this, what's the title of this piece? Scherzo. Do you know what scherzo means?
It means joke.
It's a joke. Does this piece sound like a joke?
Not really.
Not really. It's kind of demonic. It's very brooding, beautiful, but it's dramatic, isn't it? I think the joke in this piece happens during silence. And Stephen, the sense that I get when I hear you play is that the silence in this piece is not powerful enough to you. You're very much caught up in what to do in the music, that during silence, you're preparing for what's coming next. Actually, this piece, if you could capture the silence where you don't move, spiritually, your inner being doesn't move, yum dee yum ba dum bum dum dum. It's almost like, have you seen those mime actors? They're like moving, and then they pause. And then they're moving, and pause. I don't feel that pause from you. Your inner being has to really pause. I feel like the silence is too active. And so you're constantly moving in between. And I think for you, to get big sound, you do have to prepare for it, I get that. But try to hold that silence. And if you could capture the silence, then I think Scherzo really becomes Scherzo. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So try to think about that silence.
Go to the third one. Hold on, Durham, you can be funny about it. Divide it.
I could see what you were after. I already see a difference.
Right.
I see in your physical movement, you're already stopping. You know, like, have you seen these cartoons where like, people are like sneaking around, and if someone hears, they freeze. And then they sneak around, and they freeze. You're kind of trying to do that, and that's good. But it's not just physical movement I'm talking about. Your inner being has to really stop. Here, Stephen, just for an exercise, watch. I'm just gonna have total silence in the room, and I'm gonna look right at you. I'm gonna be moving, I'm gonna be talking, and then. Do you sense that? Do you see how powerful it is to just freeze? This piece has so many of those moments, and that's where you can't be like moving, fidgeting, and so it's good that you're holding on to that. Try to create that space. Yes?
Especially the beginning. That's the way.
I think Stephen hurried and goes because he wanted to get to that phrasing spot, but get to the phrasing spot without hurrying.
Yeah.
Do that deliberate, and then freeze.
Yeah.
Don't hurry into the freeze, because we know what you're doing if you do that.
Try that. That's where I want you to be free and let a bendment. That's what's happening. And then you also have to You really have to sing out. And again, this is like, there's not really saying piano anywhere necessarily. You have to sing out that first. You can't lose us. You have it, but you're almost hidden there.
Stephen, that transition is tricky because I think in your mind you're seeing it as two sections. It's almost, even though there is some silence, the sort of the flow of the music continues on. And so you kind of stop, and then you're trying to restart, and so you're slowing down, and we're sensing that. You have to keep that going forward. Yeah.
Can we do that pianissimo? Yeah, too much of the timing.
Yeah, Stephen, it's almost like we can feel the ball rolling downhill. We expect the trajectory to go forward, but you pull back, and you lose us during that moment. It has to flow downhill naturally. There isn't a stop there, you see?
Keep going.
Good. Stephen, can we try that again? You could actually play with more freedom than you're holding yourself back.
I think you can do it. You can do it. I have full faith creativity.
Steven,
You can just do whatever you want to do in this section.
Have you ever been so happy that you can't control yourself? Yeah, what was it? What caused it? Did you get a nice gift? Did you work really hard for something and you achieved something? What was it? Okay, well, you said that it happened. You were sure about it. When you are so happy that you can't control it, what's happening to your body? Are you like, oh, I'm happy? Or you're like, oh, I'm so happy I can control my body. Your body starts moving. It's like almost like you're dancing, but you don't know why. This is that moment in the music. It's almost uncontrollable happiness.
Yeah.
And you can't, and it's just coming out of you. And it feels almost like it's not out of control, but you need to just fly in that moment. And you're kind of trying to play correctly. You almost have to be okay with losing a little bit of control. And music is really exciting when you're on the verge of losing control, but you know you're not going to.
Right.
But you're going for it. You know?
I'm certain that you're not going to lose the control.
You won't. You won't.
That's why you can go whatever you want to go with it. And when all the setup we talked about, it's this kind of section we're talking about. That you just have to everybody's so ready to go with you. You know what I mean? Can we do the same spot in the pianissimo?
Imagine it's that happiest moment and you're just uncontrollably happy. Yeah. Go for it.
All right, the left hand. Singing tango. There you go. There you go. One more back. Keep going. Then this section makes sense if you go with it.
And not only that, if you play with that much freedom, when you do have your color changes that I hear you trying to do it, it's more effective. Because you're going, and then when you pull back, we didn't expect it, so it feels so much more pleasurable. So the more freedom you play with, the more effective everything else becomes, because it's a balance off of that.
But see how much energy you have to put in? It's not like, I know these notes, I can play it, and you just da-da-da-da. No, it's almost like all of your body is coming out of you. And that's how much you have to be. Like after you play this piece, you feel like, I feel like I'm tired. Not because physically, because you have give so much energy. That's what we're missing on that, you know? So we're gonna go to that similar idea. Oh, except that we're gonna go to the sostenuto ones. Ta! I feel that in that section again, that we talked about with Amory about the choir or the bigger thing. Your version is still lacking the depth. It's can you be like that? Actually, let's go going to, because the silence is needed. Can we go to maybe on top or something somewhere before to get into that? Again, you have to imagine your body is like 4 times bigger than you are.
Actually, Stephen, you get plenty of sound out of the instrument, in my opinion. I think that you're used to prepping before making a big sound. When you are smaller. You actually get big sound. You don't need to have these huge moments especially if it's a softer sound, you're very much used to doing, yeah, but actually, just from here, you have the power already.
Right.
I think you're thinking back to when you were maybe 8, 9 years old,
Yeah, then you
and you
couldn't
needed
reach
to
it.
charge up before playing. And because that has become a habit, all these movements during silences, because reality is, Stephen, when we go to a performance, of course music is sound art, it's through sound, but when we are at a performance, we actually watch you.
Yeah.
And that is part of the performance. And you don't want to distract the listeners by having all these extraneous movements in between. Does that make sense?
Right.
And especially in the scherzo, the silence moments are
Yeah.
very powerful.
And then just play the middle section beginning. Get ready and play.
Yeah.
Without
No need, yeah.
just to go from that.
I think you do that without realizing, Steve.
Yeah.
So be aware
Yeah,
of
try
that.
that section. But then can you imagine that E first chord a little warmer, more blanket? But you can't lose the top either. Did we talk about that E better more than F sharp more? Yeah, so there's two versions we can do, right? Either one or what did we decide on?
The second one.
But the first one, I feel like, I think the first one we needed the first chord to be just warmed us up already. Ta-da. Your version is a little lacking still the warmth of the first chord. Try it one more time. Better, but then don't move any more. Slower attack. Slower, much slower. That's the idea. Yeah, but let me try right here, this piano. Let's see. I think we need that this. We don't need.
Stephen, do you remember what we were talking about earlier in the class about how dynamic markings are set decibel levels? It's not always about volume, it's about the effect that we're after, right? So you can play with more volume as long as the tone quality and the effect of it is quiet. Does that make sense? So you don't have to hold back so much. You can still play with presence and
Yeah,
and
presence.
sound.
Mm-hmm. Try it. When you're tired at the end of the day, play this section.
Stephen doesn't get tired.
Oh, there was two less. Don't drink. Same chord. Better. Keep going. More. have to do that in a different context, right? This is where you didn't go. But this is like where your hair is messy and just dancing like crazy. Can we go from there? Maybe 4 measures before. Oh no, right on that spot is okay. Yeah, ready? You control that. No. Falling down. You cannot. Can you fall to the downbeat a little more? Looks better. Now, you can't be always accented on the first note. It's sometimes varied. At times it's okay, but know that your first note is always the second beat, which is that you have to go down to the downbeat. Even though you sing in that first note, you have to go to the third note, which is downbeat. Okay, we'll try that one more time. But beginning was very good. After that, ta-da-dum, ti-da-da, those gotta be really a little more moving forward to create a bigger picture. That there, I felt measured. That you are very much a button up, a tie. I want you to wear t-shirts and shorts. Can we try that one more time?
One last thing. When you roll your chords in that section previous to it, because of the speed of your movement, what kind of sound do you get when you play that fast? It comes out loud anyway because of the speed. Yeah. Earlier when you were performing, you were trying to play all of those notes at forte, and so now they were naturally going to be loud, but I kept hearing brum, brum, and it's too aggressive.
Right.
Use speed instead of force in that moment. Trust that speed will take care of the forte, because otherwise it's going to sound like you're accenting the ends of da-da, da-da. It's wrong. You're trying to create a round feeling, not a jagged feeling. Does that make sense?
I feel like there's already black enough, and you put the black crayon and keep marking it. You just know that it's black enough.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? Stay more on the surface and trust the speed to take care of that for you.
But if you can do that, Stephen, because everything else is there, I'll be so enjoying this performance, wherever you play, whether this is competition or the performance, like, wow, this is another level. If you can be loose and just play with the freedom like that. In those sections, it's not everywhere, but those little sections that we are so wanting you to do it, then you're all set.
Yeah, Stephen, you don't have to, it's both professional, like trained musicians and just everyday regular folks. We can tell the difference between you playing calculated versus you losing yourself in music. And a piece like this, as you become better and better and the more control you feel, the more you actually have to let go and lean into your own instinct. And your instincts are great, so don't hold back that instinct because you want to play it correctly at the right time. You almost have to trust your instinct and go where that takes you. Does that make sense?
It's a tricky business because you don't want to play all wrong notes and be all the abandonment and emotions there. That's not right either. But we have to balance it. In the end of it, its expression comes first before perfection. If that makes sense to you. All right, thank you, Susan. Thank you, everybody, being here. It was such a juicy Chopin repertoire today. I mean, I always feel like energized after hearing some of those students and making music, because now you get to see behind the scene of making music, not the actual final product, but how we making magic tricks so it sounds magical.
And I would say maybe more importantly in a class like this, we always want our students to be listening intensely to what's happening on here when they're not on stage. And you're listening to us talk about things and you're applying those things to the music, even though you're not the one playing. You kind of start to think that way. And what you're doing is in a very relaxed manner, because you're not the one on stage. You actually get to practice those thoughts and feelings into the music. And sometimes when you're the one playing, it's harder to do that. But then you listen to these moments and you incorporate that and you start to understand the timings and the gestures. And when you're actually on stage, you can incorporate that into your own playing. And so we love holding these classes for that reason, is that you really grow when you watch others grow, right?
I would like to take just a moment to a very quick round if you have anything to say.
And we do this every class. We go around and we ask everybody one thing,
one takeaway,
or
whatever reflection or
what you learn or what you think you can incorporate into your playing.
Not only if you're a parent, obviously it's not your playing, but it's something that you think or something that you enjoyed even, that would be helpful to just share. Do you have?
Yeah. I was just struck by how, the same instrument, you get such different sounds from the four different, players. That was something that really struck me. And also what you were saying about not necessarily consciously thinking about something that you're trying to do, but allowing it to happen. You have the idea and your hands do it. That was interesting.
I loved what you were talking to Tyler about with the intensity, sort of repeating something with a different dynamic each time with those 3 repetitions, thinking about repetition in a very different way. That was a really beautiful concept.
I felt like the way that you were talking about the instrument as because it's a percussion instrument, but the way you're talking about it on a deeper level in sort of, like you were talking a lot about singing, and I feel like it's interesting how you can have a percussion instrument like that and still play it at a level.
Lyrical.
Yeah.
And that's where technique comes in. We work on that legato touch, right?
Yeah.
And we tend to, not everybody, but most of us, we love pianists that can make this percussive instrument sing like a singing instrument, which is very challenging to do because we're going against how it's built. But it does give us the room to do it, right?
I find it, the way they used to talk about like round tones and things like that. I just find it interesting how you make such a different sound. Just
But the important thing is not only is it the technique, but in your mind, in your like mind's eye, you need to have that image.
Yeah.
For some of us, it sounds like, and I keep talking about round because if you imagine roundness rather than like square, it's hard to explain, but many of us can see sound. We can feel sound in here. You already have to have that sound in mind before creating it, because it's not an accident. You already need to hear it, and then you learn the technique that allows you to get to that sound. You need to keep cultivating that, sensation, but you already need to hear it. And that's why I always say, sing in your head, because that allows you to create it.
I was very impressed at how quickly all four students kind of processed the feedback, and when they played it again, it was just a very, very different sound that just sounds, comes with maturity, and just it was amazing to see the before and afters, and everybody's at a point where you've already learned the notes, and you've spent X number of months learning those notes, and now you're bringing it to the next level, and that's almost harder, especially because after you're used to playing a certain way, it's also hard to get inspiration to play any other way. So
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Amory?
what my mom said.
That works. Yumi, do you have anything to add?
Oh, I completely agree. And I also wanted to add that it was so great to watch both of you teach the kids, and you guys bounce off each other so perfectly with your comments. And yeah, just hearing the change in the students. Soon after you make a comment, they're able to adapt right away.
Yeah, I think that's unique about this master class is that we teach two teachers teaching one student at the same time. That our concept is there, and then we're bringing the same results, or maybe similar result in a different route. And then I think we're complement each other. So, yeah.
Ella, what did you think? Do you have anything to share? Did you enjoy it? Yeah? Good.
Yay! Ella might start piano soon, so she came here to observe.
Her first experience.
Yeah.
Let's go this way. Let's ask
Athena.
Athena, was there anything you learned today?
No.
No. Did you enjoy it? Well, Athena, you'll be playing here soon.
Yeah.
You'll be next.
You'll be next.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, she kept asking me why she don't get to play today.
Maybe we'll have a class just for the beginners. Yeah, that would be fun. Ted?
I think what I've been learning along the way is just how there's so much technique, I guess, that's in music. For me, the work I do is very black and white. It either works or it doesn't. And I think with music and piano, there's like so much in between that goes into playing. It's just been very impressive for me.
Jasmine?
Yeah, I'm very impressed how different they play with the expression, how like some of them have to go back a little bit and some of them have to free themselves more. And yeah, I can see Athena have a long way to go.
Well, Athena just really started.
That's true. Tyler?
I learned that sometimes it's better to go with the flow of the music instead of like exaggerating certain parts.
In regards to it's a tricky thing because before you can go with the flow of the music, you do need to know where the hills and valleys are. Because if you don't know where they are, then the flow doesn't come, right? And so in some ways you learn sort of what is the most I can do, what's the loudest I can go before it's too loud, what's the softest I can go, or what's the fastest. And then once you know sort of the general skeleton of the music, then you kind of look for that flow. And that's sort of it's important to have both, but it's absolutely true. To play at the highest level, it has to be a little bit masked. It can't be spoon-fed to the audience.
It's interesting though, when you learn the music, at first you fall in love with a piece, and music is like, oh, fun and simple, rather simple, and then as you learn, it's so complicated. Everything is extremely difficult, and so many layers of complication. And then towards the end, it gets simple again.
Yeah. One thing that Tyler, I don't think we've talked about it before, but I think it's very similar to, there are, sometimes I'm watching a movie or a show, and there are actors on the movie that are overacting, and it actually takes me out of watching the movie, because I can tell that they're acting, and there's certain actors where they're so in flow, but it's so clear what they want to do, that I don't realize I'm watching a movie, and I'm immersed in the story emotionally, and I think music is like that. If you try to overdo it, it's like an actor on screen that thinks that they're doing it by exaggerating it, but for the audience, we know that they're exaggerating it, and so we wake up to the fact that we're watching a movie rather than that we are immersed in the story, right?
Yeah, I definitely gained a deeper appreciation of behind the scenes of just unpacking and repacking and understanding sort of your own personality, but the personality of the music, the composer, the era, and really repacking it in a way that feels real to you and to the audience and giving it its honor. It's just, it's so sophisticated, and that makes me really appreciate music.
I'm just really glad that my brother came here and got this great experience.
Me too.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Stephen?
Sometimes you can like just free yourself and you just without control.
Well, remember what I said a moment ago. Yes, you play with freedom and abandonment, but before you can get there, you do need to learn control. It's like, like if you and I wanted to go to the ice cream shop the quickest way, we can learn that shortcut way, but what we're talking about is learning the map so well, Stephen, that if we know why that shortcut is the best shortcut, not because that's the only route that we learn, but we know all of the routes and we understand why that's the shortcut. And I think music is like that. You really need to master everything before you can abandon and play with that freeness. And you are getting to that stage in this piece, and that's why we talked about it, right? We work so hard to play correctly, but real performance happens when you lose yourself in music, and it's a combination of both.
So I think the balance that you just mentioned about, I think is the first takeaway that I have today. Because when I sometimes listen to Stephen's practice and piano playing, there's sometimes he makes some mistake, and then I, as a parent, always focus on those mistakes. Oh, you get the notes wrong. Actually, sometimes I think I recall that he actually focused on the expression. So I learned from it now that sometimes you have to let him to express first. But of course, it's before that he have to put a lot of effort on the practice because he has to be close to perfection before he can express.
Yes.
That's what
you bring up a really good point about balance, because you're right that if you hit wrong notes during those expressive moments, it takes away from the beauty of the moment. And that's what makes music so difficult, is that to play without mistakes and to play with abandonment are a very tricky combination. And we do live in a time where we try to play as cleanly as possible. And so you're not wrong in saying you need to fix that mistake. That's given, right?
That's why it's a balance. Right?
Yes, it is. But that you're walking a fine line, because you're right. If you play with too much freedom, we hit more mistakes, right? And so I think that's why the greatest musicians, the performers, are able to play with freedom and yet can play without mistakes. But Yeah, it's a very difficult
The
thing
second
to
one
achieve.
is understanding the piece, because I got a, to be honest, I got a very big question about this piece. Scherzo number 2. Scherzo is a joke. I never think it's a joke because it's a very dramatic one. But now, after your expression, your explanation, I know it. So I think Stephen also know it. Why it's
I saw that. Stephen reacted immediately and he tried to pause. And that's why he sped up because he wanted to get there he was so eager to do it. Yeah, it's a balancing act.
So now I know to understand a piece, it's much helpful for you to perform, to make it, you can perform, make it better.
Yeah, so Jian and I always say, in order to perform, you have to practice performing. You can't recreate that in a practice room. It's just not possible. That raw energy that we feel on stage. And that's why we hold these classes, and that's why we always recommend our students to perform before performing. Even if it's calling your neighbor, it's just come on in, let me play. It's so important to feel that nervous energy. Otherwise, we don't know where our pitfalls are, where we need to work on. So.
I wanted to make an announcement that I'm holding advanced reader's copy of my upcoming book. It's going to come out September 19. It's already available on Amazon. It's a pre-sale. So this is probably one of the most personal cumulative project that I ever made. It includes 4 of my album. One I'm going to
Music album.
The music album that I'm going to New York next week to record the 4th album that is going to be inside. Piano piece is white key is 52, and also 52 weeks in a year. So it has 52 chapters of my stories, short stories of my personal life, behind the scenes of concert pianists, struggles through that musician's life, or just living in America as an immigrant too. And then I collaborated with 52 artists, living artists, each piece to match that essay, and each one also has a QR code, which is concert corner of new performance. So this book is partially book and partially concert and partially gallery. And my intention is that in this busy time of our time, that holding a book, you slow it down in the best way through the art, whether that is a story, whether that is the music, or the looking at those gorgeous art. And I got a lot of rejection from the artists when I contacted all of my favorite artists, and but 52 said yes, so they are here. And for example, this is Angry Charlie, and I told this artist in London, and like, I need an Angry Charlie for this chapter. Can I have an Angry Charlie? Every single artist I commissioned or paid the permission to use for the book, and all the artists that is my favorite too.
And you should mention all the stories are short stories, so they're not necessarily connected.
Yeah, it took 4 years for me to write it, so I ask people to hurry the reading. It's probably the book that you nightstand book, and one chapter at a time, take time, and force you to slow down, a ritual of calm. So that's available now in Amazon. So I have a giveaway for the pre-sales, but if you tell Mr. Kim that you purchase it, then I will give you the stickers and all first 10 chapters PDF in advance, so that you can go ahead and start reading right away. And on the September 19th, everybody know about this book, and I'm so excited to share this project with you.
She worked really hard on this one.
Yeah, no, I'm something that I'm really proud of. It will be hardcover eventually, and the color. I mean, who makes a color book these days? But I wanted to. So it's a beautiful outside and inside, all of that, and this is something that I envisioned first, and then this came out. That vision is realized in real life, and then the cover art really. Mr. Kim helped me a lot with the cover art, which is a Korean artist, and then I hired a typographer that designed the title, actually the new font they created and everything. So
I hope you get to have a time to slow down with this book as well. Okay, all right, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.